Whites of their eyes.
I know.
We don't fight.
All right, let's begin from a place of calm, and we'll intro. This is how the radio show is going to go.
This is on the radio?
It will be.
Will be.
We can leave, but don't cuss. Not too often do we have artists on the World Cafe so iconic that they go by one name. I mean, Elvis had passed before we started the show. Also, not often do we have a guest that has been at the top of her game for almost 4 decades. First in the 80s, selling over 20 million albums with her mom, Naomi, and the Judds. In the 90s, when her mother retired while struggling from hepatitis C, she started a solo career with a quintuple platinum album, 4 #1 singles from that alone. The new century has featured more music, an autobiography, correct me when I'm wrong here, a reality TV show with her mom, fiction writing, Dancing with the Stars, reunion tours, and much more. This woman does not sit around. There have been ups and downs, maybe a divorce here and there, maybe an arrest here and there.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Her husband, the drummer in this great band, the Big Noise Cactus Moser, was in a horrific motorcycle accident, had part of his leg amputated, and I will tell our radio audience, he is playing double kick drums tonight. Oh yeah, the tour bus got on fire earlier this year, so. Anyway, today we're going to have a chance to hear some new music from a still untitled new album and more. Please give it up for a woman who's one of the greatest voices of our time. Please welcome Wynonna and the Big Noise.
Why not me?
One of the very first hits from the Judds.
But I had a girl tweet me the other day and she goes, "Oh, I love that new song." And that's when you know that you've had generations. I've had 3 so far of Judd heads. I'm in my 3rd. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful. So grateful.
Has it, each time, when you first started, and then when you did your solo career, and now, too, has it been a little scary when you made those switches?
Yes, everything is scary for me. I was born very quiet. I know that's hard to believe. Very shy and very introverted in music. As a lot of you know, in radio, it's easier to be behind the microphone. For me, it's easier to be with the band. That's why I'm now with the band, which is exciting because when the record comes out, it'll be Wynonna and the Big Noise. And by the way, Wynonna was Wynonna because Jay was separated from W, and MCA wanted me to be separate from the Judds. So everybody thinks it's because I'm a one-name wonder. It's simply marketing, my friend. But I've grown into it, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
So I'm blessed.
But now Wynonna comes from another name, right?
I got the name from a blues black man, my mama said. I was named after a blues black man in, where, honey?
Well, he was in the 30s, 40s, Wynonna Harris.
Yeah.
I was named after
Amazing
Wynonna.
jump boogie singer.
Yeah.
That's what Ray Benson said of Asleep at the Wheel. He named me after Route 66, Flagstaff, Arizona, don't forget one. Literally.
Well, when you and I gotta bring Cactus in here. Cactus, who's been working with you as a producer, and obviously your husband. When you started thinking about what you're going to do next, what were the parameters? What did you want to do?
I'm thinking as the question is to me, I just want it to be, when you have this kind of a voice that's still so amazing, and I felt like there was just a new sort of honesty that maybe we were both talking about in this kind of sound that we wanted to present. We were basing it on a lot of older stuff, old instruments, 1930s.
Classic. I don't use the word old, honey.
Yes, okay, classic. Recording techniques that had been maybe somewhat forgotten, they're becoming sort of new again. And I said, you know what, this music is almost modern vintage, and I think that's kind of, and the type of songs where we could sing about really different kinds of subject matters.
Yes, why not?
We've had therapy, so I know how to raise my hand. Honestly, I know what I don't want. I don't know about you all, but I know what I don't want. I don't want to wake up one day and be bitter. I want to be better. And so I literally said, I'm not going to think about this. I'm just going to do what I love. What a freaking concept. And I'm going to act like I'm not going to fail. What would I do if I knew I wasn't going to fail? And that's what this next record is. And the album is going to be, I still say album, I think it's going to be a breath of fresh air for anybody out there who's just so jaded and knows look, we've heard it all. We've seen it all. There are no verses flown into Pro Tools. We literally made this record as we are right now. Yeah. It's just a time to be seriously, Garage Band comes to mind. When we hung out with the Foo Fighters, name dropper, Dave said, be a band, do like us, and just get in a room and play music until something works. And that's exactly what we're doing.
Well, let's hear it.
Oh, yeah. A little joy going on right there.
I thought so. Let's hear another one.
Oh, okay. One of the biggest fights I ever got in with a man. This was playing in the background.
A man?
Yes, you.
let this fly by, because you mentioned there that Derek Trucks and Susan Tedeschi.
I just got word, seriously, this one behind me is crazy. He's got Timothy B.
She's singing harmony on that track
playing,
there.
I mean,
We got, and Derek is playing, of course, the incredible guitar slide work that he does on another track on the record called Keeps Me Alive. Timothy B. Schmidt, who was one of my, as a kid, and yeah, I was a Poco fan well before there was an Eagle fan in me. And yes, there's a song off of the A Good Feeling to Know album called I Can See Everything that we recut, and Timothy B. Schmidt.
he was like, I hope you like what I did.
He sings the entire chorus with her, and it's like heaven comes to earth.
We're having so much fun, I feel like we're getting away with something. I really do, it's awesome.
We got a text, honey, before we came over here from Derek saying, have a great show. We're having so much fun being part of your project, so that was a pretty awesome moment.
Yeah, I'm so glad I could get him a gig.
Well, it brings me to the question, after you've walked the dogs and done the dishes, and you and Cactus, sit there to listen to some music, what do you guys listen to at home? What's
Not a dang thing.
Yeah.
We live on a farm. Ashley's here, Mom's here. Ashley's on the right, Mom's on the left, but my mom's right, Ashley's left. We sit outside and we listen to the nothingness because the studio.
Billie Holiday's our
We did
guy.
listen during dinner. We listen to music, but we have a studio right there on the property, so it's time to just be, which is hard for musicians, and especially a drummer. So we just sit and we talk about what if what we're doing matters? What if it's relevant? And I go, honey, if it is, we get to do it together. And I just marvel at what's happening right now. After everything I've been through with this one, hell on earth, literally. I think it's really awesome to reap what you've sown. So I'm grateful, as you can tell, my heart's full.
Wow.
And I think that this, I watched Stevie Nicks the other night dance like I've never seen a woman dance, and she's just having a rebirth, and it's so exciting to see all these people I've known my whole career enjoying themselves.
Can we talk a little bit about Cactus's accident
Okay, let's talk about Cactus.
Well, he'll probably talk about himself, but and what it was like for you too, because Cactus you had a motorcycle accident, right?
Yes.
And pretty.
Unfortunately, borrowed a motorcycle. The front tire was underinflated. You don't know until it's too late, but yes. She and I had been, chasing each other around to some extent since the late 80s.
I've loved him since I was 20.
We had I toured with a band called Highway 101 that opened for the Judds for an entire year, so we
Don't
were
forget
friends.
that.
Well, that yes, opening.
We were on our way to the gig, and he came around me, which is rare for me because I like to be the leader, and to protect me from what could come running up. We were in South Dakota in the Black Hills. We were going to see just the beautiful nature outside of the casino area that we were playing. And I watched my beloved 10 feet in front of me crash into a car at 65, and his leg just exploded on impact. And
In my hand.
and your hand shattered. And the first thought was, this can't be how my love affair ends. And then the very second thought was, this can't be happening. We have a show in 3 hours. That's how crazy the brain is when you're in trauma. And I just remember him being life-flighted, and they took him from me for almost an hour. I had to ride through the wilderness with no cell service. And it was literally like, okay, God, I get it. You want me to be looking up. I have nobody to call, nobody. I can't use my voice. I can't do anything. I'm so helpless. And I didn't know how much I needed God till he was all I had, kind of thing. And I went running into the ER like in the movies, how the doors bust open, and that's exactly what I did. And they said, he's alive, but he'll never play again. And I sat there for 4 days. And Justin, who's my son-in-law, he's married to Cactus's daughter, he saved me from myself. He said, there's nothing we can do. So it shut down for a while, and our marriage quarters turned into a medical facility. And PT and all the stuff you never think is going to happen to you because you're so fabulous. It happens. And his hair looked just like this, whether he was asleep, awake, doing PT. He has the best hair ever. Because that's what it's really all about. But he walked through some stuff I couldn't have done. In 8 days, he was out without medication. I'm just telling you guys, PTSD, I have it. It's horrible. And he walked through stuff I don't know anyone. We have a documentary out, if you want to know more. And we're just turning our mess into a message. And every night on stage, he looks at me like, okay, I just got a standing ovation. It makes me work harder to get my standing ovation. Because he's just living in a joyful sort of, you know, what happens to you, it's what you do with it. So he's playing better than ever, of course. He's playing better than ever. It's the weirdest thing. And he and Rick Allen came to see me on Dancing with the Stars, and being the funny person that I am, because humor saves me, I said, the two of you make up a whole drummer. Just because you have to laugh. I'm serious,
Yeah.
you know, I cry, then I laugh, and I cry, then I laugh. So this music represents all of that, and Cactus is at the helm. And I've never trusted a man this much before in my life, and it scares me to death sometimes, but the other times I'm too busy boogieing and having a great time.
That's a great story. That's a great story.
It's a great story.
Great plan.
It's real.
Yeah.
Sorry, honey, I can't let you talk, but
I'm good. I'm gonna argue with
this is
you
my only
back.
chance. These people don't know me.
You know, rappers always talk about having street cred, and I was just thinking that you know, they were bad guys, they did this stuff on the street. Well, you have country cred. I mean, you and your mom were living without electricity or running water for a while. The whole thing, you came from that. Wow.
If it hadn't been for that, I wouldn't have played guitar. I'm telling you, less is more in our case. We didn't have Facebook. We had face-to-face. We had chores, child labor. We learned how to work hard, and it serves me well because I'm literally in the studio with him, and he'll say, honey, 20 times is enough. I'm learning how to not be a perfectionist. My mom raised 2 champions, and there's a cost. So I'm learning how to one of my mentors, Brene Brown, is teaching me that the spirituality of imperfection. But you know what? I think the less we had, the bigger our dreams were. We had food stamps. You take what you need, and then you give back. And I've been doing that for 30 years because I'm grateful that a single parent made it on nothing. She had determination and perfect hair.
You do pretty well with the hair. Wynonna is our guest, and we are hearing these great new songs. And what do you got next?
What do you mean, what I got next?
What song do you got next?
Oh, crap. This is a deeper one. You know, I tell people that Cactus and I in this show, if you come see us live, we're a tragic comedy. 1 minute you're laughing, next minute you're crying, because that's what life is. This next one kills me, because it's what country music is all about, real stories. This was written by Travis Meadows, one of the greatest songwriters, I think, of our time. And this is about loss. It's about losing the love of your life. Not too long ago, Evelyn's eyes were fire beside, it would have been just a hole, steady as a rocking chair, honest like a grandma's prayer. Now he's lonely as the night is long with her gone. Jesus out the jukebox brings comfort to his soul. One says he'll see her, one helps him let her go. Carries that old cross right now till that's for the blood. Praise the Lord and thank God for Jesus and a jukebox. Old man believe there ain't nothing wrong with the witness song, but it ain't all gonna be.
One helps him let it go. Carries down across the rock down the last ball of love. Oh, thank the Lord, thank God for Jesus out of jukebox. Jesus out of jukebox. Watch him drop a quarter in, top it off with an egg. Yeah. Jesus on the jukebox brings comfort to his soul. One says he'll see her again, and one helps him let it go. Carries out across the rock now the last ball of love. Oh, praise the Lord, thank God for Jesus out of jukebox. Jesus out of jukebox. Sailed through the kind for the longest time, but not too long ago.
Ooh, that's country. Very country. And Tommy has reestablished my faith in the traditional sound of where I come from. I see a thumbs up back there, yes. We must not forget where we come from, right? So.
More than one. This sounds great. But you seem really alive. You seem really totally into this.
Today I am because I flew. See, I've been in 6 states in 5 days. And I'm so determined that I scare myself because I'm so on fire. And when you're this on fire, it's exciting. Because the last time I think I was this fired up was when I was about 18 and I was just going. And I used to wake up and go, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And this morning I literally went, thank you, God. You know, I'm just in such a proactive place rather than reactive. As you get to be 50, you know how that works. So you know what?
It's been very exciting to be able to come. We have a studio out on the farm in Downey Hills where we've been recording with us, and come up the hill some nights when she's gone up to rest or whatever if we've been tracking, and play her a rough mix of something that's I've kind of put together for that day, and watch her just start to cry.
I was taking a nap and he
Enjoy.
came, woke me up and played me Timothy, and I literally wept, and I called him and he was like, oh, don't cry. And I'm like, you know, I mean, these are moments that we live for. So you did it, and you woke me up and you said, honey, this is what life is about. And we just stood there and it was like, you know, yeah, I know I'm crying, I don't care, because I forgot to take my meds this morning. But to me, it's like, you know what? I've done it all, like twice. Oh, it's gonna be like, newsflash, Wynonna's off her meds.
Watch yourself in the
Watch
airport.
her. She's dangerous.
But you got waterproof mascara.
Yes, I do. I listen, I was on Oprah 18 times. I buy it by the decade.
That's right. You and Oprah. You.
Whatever, yeah, from Opry to Oprah. I tell the story every night. Look, I was on her show more than any other person. And because I'm gullible and I'm naive and I didn't realize, she is sucking every story out of me that I would have never told anybody, but because I've known her 25 years, she got me to tell it all. And there's nothing really left, and so I had to start my chapters over and say, you know what, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not a rear view mirror person. I'm a windshield person. I'm looking forward, you know. Everybody wants to talk about the past, and that's where you live if you're a victim, and I'm not. I'm hard-headed, but I'm tender. I'm an oxymoron, you know. I live with this character back here who is making me crazy. We're going on stage the other night. He presses his butt up against the shower door and goes, "You're welcome." I have to live with this guy, so we might as well make it fun.
I want to live honestly.
Next song. sorry, I just get so excited.
No, this is more fun. And we all learned something trying to shower door thing. So yeah, what's one of these new things?
Okay, so there's this guy I met. I know nothing about formats or categories. I was this way when I was, my mama says, in the womb. I don't make music for the purpose of being played on radio. I know that's hard because we want it to be on radio, and they're my friends, and I know all their family members to the point where it's like Christmas cards. And yeah, I just want to make music that I love, you know. And yes, I put Jeff Beck on a song because he's a friend, not because, you know what I'm saying? We don't sit around and try to diagnose everything. And so we're having dinner with Ryan Freeland, who is helping with this record. And he's a major, major player in the business, I hear. And tell the story. We're sitting in a booth.
Well, Ryan was someone who I sought out. He is an engineer deluxe. He's won multiple Grammys for his engineering, but first and foremost for me was the Ray LaMontagne album, Good Lord Will and Please Don't Us, which I think is just a masterpiece of sonic sort of landscape where you really feel like you're almost watching a movie just because of the sounds, let alone the songs. And in this instant, we were actually, there's another guy who was a friend of a friend in this situation too, was Joe Henry, and I love Joe Henry's records. They're really exciting, and I love, we can give Joe a round of applause. And,
I'm like, oh, Joe, Wynonna.
she walks up and hadn't met him before, and she goes, anybody who can put the word chicken in a verse, I want to meet. So, but Ryan is a very cool piece of this. He's kind of our fifth Beatle, and his
He's very supportive.
Yeah, and as well as one of the things that we've written more of the stuff material on this record, but internally. But this next song, which kind of ties in, is a guy who's a hero to me in a lot of ways, is Buddy Miller. And Buddy Miller and Buddy and Julie, actually Justin, our son over here, was a big part of, he was that was Justin's like childhood sort of music, and we were listening to all this stuff years back, and it just stayed in me. Between things like this, Buddy Miller's material and watching Twin Peaks when I was young and how that affected me, and watching True Detectives, and somewhere in all this stuff that I feel passionate about after I lost my leg and nearly died, I want this stuff to come out, and so that's kind of where I'm trying to bring all these elements together with, to me, one of the greatest voices I've ever heard in my life.
And segue, we're called the Big Noise because his son in the car said, "Daddy, play the Big Noise." He didn't like all the other rock acts, but he loved Led Zeppelin, and he called them the Big Noise. And they're not only friends, but they're his heroes. And so we call him the Big Noise because he's the big and this is the noise. So why not name the Big Noise? Just a little trivia for you. So for us, it's Led Zeppelin, Joe Henry. It's all these influences are coming out.
Childhood has come to us again.
Yes. And we like to rock.
Here's a Buddy Miller song called "You Make My Heart Beat Too Fast." That's one of the ones we didn't like to beat.
Oh my gosh. Whew.
Wynonna, that is a heartbeat too fast. She's our guest today on the cafe. And I wanted to ask about your relationship with your voice. I mean, how do you just like go, gosh, go girl, this is great. Or do you worry about it? Or
I don't worry, and that's weird, because I don't smoke. I don't do anything, but I do some warm-ups and it just comes out, and I think, like wine, it gets better as I get older. It's crazy. I don't know, I think it's experience and wisdom and just the Elijah kicking my diaphragm into fourth gear, like, huh, you know, and I just think it's wisdom, and I think it's just, I used to sing more in fear, now I sing more in faith. And so I literally have had the greatest mentors, you know, Tony Bennett, I mean, people that have just said, be a stylist, Tammy Wynette, you know, I sing because passion. So it's just coming more and more, because I'm so not going to let this business define me. And it's not arrogance, it's just a confidence of knowing. So I just think it's amazing, and I still can listen to my voice and go, what the heck, thank you God, because it's just grace. I mean, I didn't go to school or do anything to earn it.
were you always such a natural performer?
No. Ashley is the drama queen, so. I was her acting coach, I'm very serious.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes, I put her through a lot of scenarios.
In the woods.
In the woods. And he and I, we've had a few Tammy and George episodes. It's not good until you wrestle, you know, and I've been through so much hell and stuff. I just think it's just come in the last 5 years, I think, literally. It's been somewhere between 45 and 50, something happens to a woman. Well, a few things happen.
Time for sleep.
You can quote me.
Well, I think I speak for our audience today. This has been wonderful to meet you. This is such an honor. Thank you so much.
You'll be hearing from me.
She always, so often, and I think you guys will all kind of understand this, when we've all seen her so much of our lives in television and all the kind of places, every magazine cover, but people will come up and say, well, because you're a celebrity, will you do this or do that? And she always says, I am not a celebrity, I am an artist. And I believe that's actually very true and very truthful. Yet the business can maneuver you, and it becomes kind of a machine that's pushing you in that direction to just be famous. And I think that what this record stands for, and really is a big part of, is reclaiming the art form that is music. We're making this out of such a deep place of passion, like I said, kind of almost rediscovery in a way. The business can make you make records over and over and over, and you just can go and do what you did before to try and keep a hold of what you had. And this one is a no-holds-barred, complete departure in a way, and in some ways it's a circling back to the
Coming back to the well.
what this voice was, and the kind of music. Some of it's going to be very organic. It's not all rocking for sure, but I think it is a recapturing of the fact that she is truly, and that we are as this band, artists. It's not a celebrity thing. It's really about the love of music, which is, to me, I always say my mantra has been, make the music and it will make a way. And I think that's really what this one is going to prove.
He's good for me.
Yeah. Well, all right. You want to do? What do you want to finish up with? Something
They
else?
said, they being the powers that be, end on a high note. This is the most played song. What do you call it? Recurrent.
Yeah.
Just keep playing it and playing it and playing it. Because you know what? I am so full of myself right now.